Welcome back, everyone. The show where we help painting companies grow, establish their brand, and book more jobs using proven marketing strategies. And today we're talking with Flo, one of the most established or known brand strategists for contractors. So if you're a painting business owner or even a contractor who wants to attract better clients and scale, this episode's for you. So let's dive in.
I plan to be in business for the next 5, 10, 15 years, and you want to be that credible, reliable contractor, not just in your area, but also in the online space as it continues to grow, then branding should be a top priority for you.
For your company, if you need work desperately, the difference between both I've seen is that branding is more of a long-term play and Facebook ads is more of a short-term play. So if you need work, if you have a certain amount of budget, you have a certain amount of time, you have a certain amount of resources, you want to put those resources where it's going to get you the highest return, you can say as fast as possible.
What is that approach that makes you different when you do talk about maybe you guys either have the different process, a different method, you probably use higher quality material. What are you highlighting in your work and in your brand that separates you from everybody else?
He didn't have to advertise for 35 years. 35 years. He survived on word of mouth. He was a solo painter, and that's how he advertised himself. But the problem he has been running into is that the last 3 to 4 years, work has slowed down. He's not been able to sell as much. And the guy's a little nutcase in the head, don't want to sound bad, but he was blaming every other external factor but himself for getting a little too complacent, blaming people. You can say the influx of people coming and more people becoming painters that are not licensed. They're just forming up a crew. But the point, he didn't take the necessary steps, especially with technology that's coming into and social media that's coming into form.
You can't just go based off of 1 or 2 posts or being consistent for 1 or 2 weeks or even 1 or 2 months. Like, you haven't probably collected enough data from either the Facebook ad strategy or the brand strategy in order to know what can work best for this contractor, because maybe you're not comfortable on camera and you still need to put in the reps to get comfortable on camera.
What I would say to level up your marketing is just be you, show you. Again, in my opinion, the only reason why you guys are able to, because you're confident in what you guys do. So just show the confidence on camera. That's all it is. It's pretty much you go from 1 to 1 to 1 to many. And that 1 to many gives you the leverage in order to scale your business, scale your brand, scale who you are. Because you're able to make one piece of content and you do it well, or do it okay, or do it decently, whatever level of standard you're at, and you can blast it out to hundreds of thousands of homeowners of your ideal client to just land more work, 5, 10, 15 more jobs a month by making one piece of content.
For anybody that don't know who I am Flo, I'm a brand strategist. I help contractors brand their business on social media and all types of other businesses in the service niche. And Daniel, what do you do?
My name is Daniel. I am owner / founder of New Era Digital Marketing. So basically what I do is I help painting companies across the nation and also Canada basically generate more leads using Meta, lead generation, social media ads, and also even schedule the leads that do come in.
Canada too?
Yeah, Canada too. Even though I'm not the biggest fan, not to say I don't like working with Canada people, it's just I do work with both and I have worked with both.
Nice. Yeah. So you said you wanted to bring me on this and have a good conversation. I'm definitely always open for a good conversation. And you might have some questions on the other side there that I haven't seen yet.
Hey, stop lying.
All right, nah, I've seen it before, but let's just let the conversation flow as we go and give people whatever value we can bring to them. Hopefully it is valuable for anybody out there that's looking to brand their business or needs help with their ads, whether you're thinking about creating strategic organic content or need some type of ad strategy. So fire them away, bro.
All right. So pretty much the topic that we're going to be talking about, or you can say collaborating, is Facebook ads powered / times with branding, organic branding on social media, and the powers and the benefits it can bring to your contracting business. So first question, should I build my brand first or should I run Facebook ads and get leads coming in fast? What you think?
I would say it depends on what your long-term goals are and also your short-term goals are, because if you have a plan to be in business for the next 5, 10, 15 years and you want to be that credible, reliable contractor, not just in your area, but also in the online space as it continues to grow, then branding branding should be a top priority for you. But also if you need like immediate results right away, and you want to dive into throwing some money into some ads, then yes, you will get some type of immediate result if you go and invest into ads. But the question is, what's your strategy behind it? And that's where a lot of contractors get lost, where they think that just because they ran a $5 a day ad and they got maybe not the best leads, then it doesn't work, when in reality, or they post one piece of content and they don't go viral, or they don't get millions of views, and they think it doesn't work. So again, if you're gonna do this, I definitely always suggest understanding what your goals are for the company. But overall, which one should you do first? That was a question, right?
I said which one you should do first.
I personally think you should dive right into creating content. And if you also have the available, not just time investment, but financial investment to put into ads, get creative with some ads and not just give up on the first couple creatives that you put out, but actually see why and pay attention to your data on why it didn't perform as well as you wanted it to. Or I would say with that.
To piggyback on that, I would say it depends on your biggest need. Like, what is right now the biggest worry or the biggest need you have to fix, or you can say fill in or fulfill for your company? If you need work desperately, the difference between both I've seen is that branding is more of a long-term play and Facebook ads is more of a short-term play. So if you need work, if you have a certain amount of budget, you have a certain amount of time, you have a certain amount of resources, you want to put those resources where it's going to get you the highest return, you can say as fast as possible. But of course, if that's not your position, in the middle of both, or you actually have too much work, you have such an abundance, I would say it's more about how you combine the two to maximize your short term and also your long term when it comes to your company now and for years to come. Because especially at the time recording this, it's October 2nd at the year. So how I seen it with the industry of Facebook is that seasonality is a big factor now when it comes to getting results, at least with the people I work with, and or just in general.
Keep it a little bit closer.
In this type of industry. So right now, if you do have an abundance of work, Facebook ads not really your priority needs. You probably should either start working your brand, talk to someone who knows how to brand your company the right way, so it fits basically the mission and the image you want for your company. So when 2026 happens and your calendar starts to become more available, Facebook ads becomes your answer, and the results come a lot easier when it comes to selling, in my opinion.
No, 100%, I agree with you. Especially, using content as a pre-selling tool should always be considered when you do have work. And even if you are slow, then you got to maximize whatever small projects you have or whatever project you have going on. So just because you're probably doing a bathroom or a kitchen remodel or a small roof, like, you still have the potential to create so much strategic content out of these projects, and it can be up to, not even just up to, but over a month worth of content, and keep them working 24/7, because people are always going to be online anyways.
I agree. So to move on to this question, kind of piggybacks or kind of gives us the chance to elaborate more on the first question. It is, should a contractor build a brand before running Facebook ads, or can they run both at once? I think you can say the short answer is yes. You can definitely run both at once, and even if anything, you should be if you can. If you're in the position to invest into both, why aren't you? That would be my answer.
No, I definitely agree with you. If they can be willing to, again, either work with a strategist and some that does know what they're doing, then work with one, because they will give you the best direction, and also help you out in how to create your offers. But no, if you have the opportunity to do both simultaneously, then yeah. All right.
So this question is mainly for you. For contractors, what does branding actually mean and why does it matter?
So what you're essentially saying is that when you want to brand your business is that you're different. So when you're working when I'm working with a contractor, I always talk about how do we want to position ourselves in order to be different, because everybody else is creating the same type of, here on this project, I'm doing this and that. And yes, we are going to talk about projects, but what is that approach that makes you different when you do talk about, maybe you guys either have a different process, a different method, you probably use higher quality material. What are you highlighting in your work and in your brand that separates you from everybody else that's just making content like here on another project? So when you're branding yourself, think about how can I, if a painter or a hardscape company both do driveways or both do residential projects, both might be talking about prep work, but one can take a different route on how they explain that prep work, whether it's just a whole different way of saying the same message, but connecting with more people because of the unique way that they deliver that message, versus the other painter that's just sounding like everybody else, that's saying the same thing and sounds like
posting the same thing too.
And posting the same way. So how can we get creative to be different?
And why would you say, or how would you put it on why does it matter so much? Whether short-term, long-term, how would you put it?
Well, because if everybody sounds the same, nobody's differentiating themselves on what makes them and their price relevant. So if you're blending in, then you're gonna fall into, all right, the only factor to consider between you and somebody else that's saying the same thing is the price, which at the end of the day is like, there's a reason. Yeah, nobody wants to compete on that, and contractors know they don't want to compete on that, but yet they show up as every other contractor.
Exact same.
So
it's mind-boggling sometimes. And I love to take that same approach when it comes to developing the strategies with people that newly starting to get to work with or been working with it when it comes to month over month, over season, is that how can we, when it comes to the paid advertising, how can we be authentic? How can we be different, especially in very, very hard markets? Just to name a few, like Boston, Denver, Seattle, very, very saturated places. Everybody's pretty much running the same things. How can we, you could say, set the tone? How can we position ourselves as a, you can say, unique experience on like, why should they go with us when it comes to spending all this money on ads in the first place? So
personally, I don't think there's such thing as a saturated market. I think people just suck at selling and they don't want to admit.
That's true. I'll give you that. But I would say, so what happens when contractors run ads with no brand or having branding with no traffic? So I answer the first part first. So what it looks like to me when a contractor runs ads with no brand, more times than not, it just comes with, it's harder to convert the leads. It's not, even though better branding helps you generate more leads as a whole, you will definitely feel the difference. But at least for the people that don't really have strong branding, it comes into converting. They have a hard time selling the work, not winning the work, selling the work, and why it should be them. The trust isn't there, the credibility isn't there. The homeowner doesn't really understand the price that they're giving, or they don't understand why they should go with them or why they're the right fit. But of course, everybody can't spend it. Not everybody has an infinite amount of money to spend on a project, but branding only helps your conversion. It's like having a fantastic website, not to get into websites, but having a fantastic website will convert more traffic. It's all what it is. It's all your conversion, especially since the traffic on Facebook or the leads on Facebook are colder. When it comes to other type of platforms, especially like Google or word of mouth and etc., is how can you, when you show up to the estimate and there's 5 other painting companies or 3 or 4, how can you leave your mark where they not just remember you from how you presented everything, but when you leave that day, as the ads continue to hit their phone, and as they continue to do more research and check out your page after the fact, that they'll fall in love with you. What do you think?
People are, or contractors are, not just gonna feel the difference, but they'll see and notice different types of conversations when they do start running the ads. I mean, if you do projects that are $15,000, $20,000 and you're asking for an investment through a video with no type of trust, like what you're initially saying is like you're asking for a significant amount of investment without a significant amount of trust built even beforehand. And that's why you don't just need the website, you don't just need the content, you don't just need the trucks or the shirts, you need a mix of a little bit of everything in order for that to be for that project to be pre-sold to the client that's doing their due diligence on you. So you don't have to over-explain yourself. You don't have to over-explain like, why is the price the price? Like, they'll understand it the more that they get invested into spending that time into doing their research. And again, you don't want to just look for price shoppers. You don't want to, like, you still have to have some type of filtration system. That's the whole reason why contractors even decided to buy shirts, branded shirts. They wanted to buy shirts, branded trucks and get branded contents, because they're showing that they're serious about who they are. And also they're filtering out somebody who's looking at them as, whether they should take them serious or not. Like, all of this investment that you're doing to yourself and to your business is part of what I'm showing you on the quality work that I do, because my standards are already shown that from the content, from how I'm explaining things, from the website, everything explains why the quality is there for the project that they're going to do. So if you don't have a sales team, this is my advice: create content, get your website, get everything up and running to build that reputation. Because if you don't have a sales team and you're the one on the projects doing all of the selling and meeting with customers, then let the content work 24/7 for you, and treat each piece of content, each piece of investment that you make as a tool and as a sales rep to nurture those potential clients. And then eventually they close themselves and you don't have to go back and forth. And they trust you in that process even after they do book you, which just makes everything smoother, easier for everybody.
Nice. And what do you think it looks like when a contractor uses branding and Facebook ads correctly together? What power do you think that brings to them?
I want to say more money, but it's not just more money. It's longevity in their business. Okay. Because the more people that do trust you, the more referrals you get, the more work that comes to you, the more easier it is to stay consistent. You don't have to deal with slow months, even though they do happen. It will happen. It's part of business.
It's just not as slow.
But it's just not as slow, and less stress to deal with. At least there's always going to be some type of stress, but yeah, I would say that if you're doing it correctly, and it's going to take some time, because again, you can't just go based off of 1 or 2 posts or being consistent for 1 or 2 weeks or even 1 or 2 months. Like, you haven't probably collected enough data from either the Facebook ad strategy or the brand strategy in order to know what can work best for this contractor. Because maybe you're not comfortable on camera and you still need to put in the reps to get comfortable on camera. Maybe you put in $10 a day in your ads, and it probably was a good ad, and you're probably getting 1 or 2 leads every other, I don't know when, but maybe you need to put more money into something that you see working, just to test out and get more data immediately for you to make a decision on how you want to pivot, or if you want to put more money and more time into your strategy.
I want to piggyback on what you said about the longevity, and definitely looking at it as at a long-term lens. I had a conversation, I was barely a conversation, but a little back and forth with this man. I think he's from Boston, and he was telling me, he's going through the ringer, but I'm not getting to that part. But what stood out to me is when he said that he sent a text message to me that he didn't have to advertise for 35 years. 35 years. He survived on word of mouth. He was a solo painter, and that's how he advertised himself. But the problem he has been running into is that the last 3 to 4 years, work has slowed down. He's not been able to sell as much, and the guy's a little nutcase in the head. Don't want to sound bad, but he was blaming every other external factor but himself for getting a little too complacent, blaming people. You can say the influx of people coming and more people becoming painters that are not licensed. They're just forming up a crew. But the point that I want to point out is that he didn't take the necessary steps, especially with technology that's coming into and social media that's coming into form, to sustain and have that longevity. He got way too complacent. Now he's really eating it, even though, again, he's blaming everybody but himself on why his company is slowing down, it's harder to get work. But from the fact that he didn't advertise, he never actually took the steps to grow his company. He didn't worry about the brand of his company. He just focused like, oh, I do good work and that's gonna last me. And it does last for the most part. Of course, if you're not doing great work as a contractor, then there's no amount of marketing or branding. Your word of mouth is gonna catch up to you. You can't acquire any type of customer because no one can trust you with your investments. It's a lot of money, you can say, when it comes to renovating your home in any type of fashion. So, with that being said, now he has to play a big catch-up game. But his mentality is so screwed on backwards is that everything, as you can say, is against him. And who says he's going to be in business for much longer? He might have to become an actual painter for a bigger painting company because he never wanted to take the jump. He never thought it was important. And now that, unless he sees results in a month, he's not willing to continue with it. And especially with branding, where it takes a very long time to build it, and you can lose it right away as well. He's completely left behind. In a market like in Massachusetts, like I pointed out, it's definitely on the tougher side compared to others. He's really eating dirt, I would say.
And let's flip the script, because there is contractors that aren't willing to be innovative and adapt to times, which, okay, cool. We'll see who's here in 10 years, in 5 years. I mean, I don't convince anybody to ever take this approach. What's been working for you, if it's been working for you, then, more power to you. But we can't deny that times are changing. Like you just see it all around us. And let's flip the script to saying there's contractors out there that have the look, are creating the content, and are doing shitty work. And they're getting the jobs that maybe the actual contractor that is credible and that does good work and that does do it with the passion that they have should have gotten, but because they're not willing to put in the because they're not willing to come up with a brand strategy or an ad strategy, then they lose out to shitty contractors. And just because the other contractors like, nah, I'm gonna market myself more than anybody else and get these jobs, and then you're stuck always playing the slow month a lot of work, slow months. Again, you're always going to be stuck in that rat race yourself. So, your competition isn't just other good contractors, it's these shitty contractors that are putting the market, that are investing in their branding and not doing the best work.
I also say it's like, whether it's in him in particular or just people like him, those type of people come off with a sense of entitlement. Like, the market doesn't owe you nothing. Just because it's been 35, exactly. That's why I told him too. It's just business. Business is cutthroat. Just because it worked for 35 years, the last 10 or the last 15, etc., doesn't mean it works tomorrow. The times are changing. The people are changing. You gotta remember, older people are getting older. Younger people are getting older. You gotta target a different crowd, because now the younger generation that are buying homes come from technology. So if you're not going to position yourself to capture that newly found audience that's going to start to become your ideal client, you're going to lose out. Your business will dry up. Your word of mouth will stop coming in because your foundation is starting to crack. You now are exponentially decaying and not exponentially growing, barely even stagnating. You're going downwards. So with that being said, to also talk about when it comes to bad contractors getting work, I also hear that. And the people who tell me that, sometimes I laugh, not in a bad way, but it's more like a smirk, where it's like, that's the whole point, especially with social media. Like, they're selling the work. They're trying to sell the experience. They're trying to sell it. You're walking in with the mentality that you're gonna go up, you're gonna answer some questions, present your price, and just because you do good work, you're gonna win the jobs. That's probably the biggest tell, or the biggest people who do have results with paid marketing, at least with me, and who don't, is their ability to sell and put pressure on people. And the people who, they don't even do good work, they're able to rake in jobs. They're always able to stay busy no matter what, because they're actually doing what's necessary to continue to put food on the table. They're actually selling the work. Even though paid advertising gets you opportunity, branding establishes your credibility to help it make it easier to sell jobs. If you're not able to sell, or you have the mentality that because you do great work, a lot of people do great work, but like, why should they go with you though? It's a people to people business. You're dealing with homeowners. You're not dealing with, unless it's commercial painting or commercial anything, you're not dealing with business owners. You can't look at them like that. You got to talk to their hearts at the end of the day. So just wanted to also tie that in together, because I also had an experience or a conversation with someone who also said the same thing, word for word.
Yeah, people have to remember that whenever you're trying to adapt in business, you got to understand the customer's buying journey, and that's always going to change depending on what new technology, what new creative content is out there that's probably gaining attention that maybe you should try for your business. Like, that customer buying journey is always going to be something that what I've noticed working with businesses that do over 20 million a year is their approach is always going to be different than just a regular contractor that comes in and shows them a fucking booklet of ideas. Like, you have to do more than that, bro. You have to do more than that.
So with that being said, does a strong brand help contractors raise their prices and kind of get a little bit less price resistance? What you think?
Your price is always going to be an extension of your brand. If and whether you believe this or not, but there are homeowners who think that, you know, they actually don't want a cheap price because they think you're probably going to do cheap work. And if you're too afraid to raise your prices, well, that's a whole nother conversation. But
that's a mentality right there.
That's a mentality thing. It is. And wait, what was the question again?
Question is, does a strong brand help contractors raise their prices and get less price resistant from the customer?
Yes, you can raise your prices, not just because you have the credibility, but when you're branding yourself and you're doing it correctly, you're also increasing demand. And when you control that demand, then you can pick and choose. And it's much easier to filter out the people who, again, isn't serious, doesn't value the actual work and the time that you're going to put into their project. So that filtration system helps a lot, and you don't have to deal with that price resistance as much. You just have to give them that extra support that they need to close a project, because that's all they're looking for. They just don't want to get fucked over.
I agree. Of course, you're always going to run into people that all they care about is the price. All they care about is getting it cheaply done. But we're not talking about those people. We're not trying to attract those people in the first place. So that's why we don't invest money in paid ads or branding in the first place, to attract the low quality fruit that's around, that's able to be picked. So with that being said, what are the biggest mistakes you see contractors making with branding or ads, but for you with branding?
The biggest mistake that they're making is, one, they're overthinking this shit. Like, they just simply overthinking this shit.
I agree. Yeah. Yep.
Seriously, just create the content.
It does not have to be perfect.
And document everything that you can. Obviously, you need to be, the approach on how you create and deliver content has to be strategically, but let's just say if you're on a project and you're working and remodeling a house, you pull up to the house, you have a dumpster outside, boom, that's one piece of content. Why did you put a dumpster in the driveway? Well, because you're not the contractor that's just gonna put trash outside in the front lawn so everybody can be driving past and look and it looks like a mess. That's a piece of content. Let's just say the material just getting delivered. You can talk about, okay, I've been going back and forth to making sure that we're on schedule with delivering the materials on time with the homeowner and also the suppliers, so we're keeping this job moving smoothly. You just created another piece of content of the delivery.
Exactly.
Once the materials in the garage or in the house, you stop. Why are you using this material? Why are you using that material? What is this benefit? What is this material? How is this material going to benefit this project and homeowner for their project? That's another piece of content. Let's just say if you're doing floors and there's a lot of let's say you ripped up an old floor and there's a lot of nails sticking out. Grab a hammer, record yourself hammering down the nails, and explain why are you doing that process. That's another 30 seconds. I just gave you like 15 videos right there that you can create right then and there. But most people would say, I don't have the time, which again, you're overthinking this shit. But yes, that is the concept of creating content. Now is just understanding what can work, which is thinking about the hook and how can you make it a little bit more creative. But that would be the main thing. I was working with another company where they had to send the video through one person. It had to go over to the next person. It went through like 5 people to get approved before we posted something. And I'm just like, yeah, nah, this isn't gonna work, and it's gonna fall on me if nothing happens. But they're literally just overthinking it. As far as ads, I think that people are like, if you're not getting enough clicks on your ads, it's because it's not creative enough. If you're not getting people to fill out your form, is because your offer sucks.
Yep.
So think about that and not give up on testing different ad creatives either, because something can work. You should try it for yourself first, but definitely work with people who do this, the companies that actually do this for a living, versus you trying to figure everything out yourself, and let them do what they're good at doing. That's the point of building a good team around you, is they're going to support you, and hopefully they definitely do have the best interest in your brand and your business. But when you do find those people, it's like, take that chance. I mean, it's business. You're gonna have to invest money to make money regardless. But don't think just because you're running just because you spent $300, $500 this month and you got nothing, that it doesn't work. Like, no, this stuff works. Yeah, and look at your,
it works.
Look at your
data. Take the good from the bad. It's not always bad.
There's contractors out here spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month on just Facebook ads because it's bringing them the quality leads that they need, that they want, and creating the content as well. But
to go off what you said, for the people who say, I don't have enough time, the whole purpose of what you said and how you explained it, the ideas, it's just talking about how to integrate it with what you're already doing. It's not like you're thinking, oh, how can I think outside the box and do this one random task out of nowhere, out of pocket, that's gonna disrupt my entire day. While you're at a project, how can you integrate that content creation while you're there? That's how you maximize your time. That's how you maximize the volume that you can create. And pretty much in the project. Pretty much, the thing I hear the most, it's excuses. When it comes to content, of course, there's reasons at times where you don't get the content, or you really did not have time, or you got busy, or emergency happened. It happens. It's business, life gets in the way, of course, but those are reasons. I'm primarily talking about excuses for the people who just don't ever end up getting it, and they name every excuse in the book when it comes to grabbing it. Is that the more you can grab, the better you get at grabbing, and also the easier it can get. So
I just want to piggyback off that. I had a contractor that I got started with, and he was a little bit hesitant to, starting to create content and doing this. And when I started working with him, I made the process so simple for him that it didn't even seem like we went too out of his schedule, or we had to stop the operations or slow things down. Like, no, my job is to make this as easy and get you as comfortable and as fast as I can with the camera, so you can eventually get better, but also see that it's not something that we have to change dramatically in your business. It's just me jumping into the business and seeing the opportunities where we can maximize our time together and still create strategic, organic content for their business. And he was appreciative. He literally said, he's like, man, I should have started a long time ago, because I thought you were gonna bring all these lights and all this equipment and stuff. And I do if I need to, depending on the project and how much time they're gonna be there. But sometimes these contractors are moving so fast, and you've been with me on projects, and you've seen what it's like, what a full day of creating content is like for contractors. And again, I just try to make it as simple as I can.
Integrate.
Yeah, and keep going. So, if you're gonna do this, don't make it more harder than it is. If all you have is your phone, then contractors will take their phone out and create content. If you're able to put the phone on a tripod, there's contractors who are willing to do that. But don't add any extra unnecessary steps that you don't need to. And I'm definitely not going to do that for you, especially the more I get to know your business and we work together. So that's what I try to do for every single contractor.
The reason why I think that's 100% true is because homeowners love authenticity. Just make it authentic. That's why you don't need the perfect setup. You don't need the perfect job. You don't need perfect. Because the biggest problem waiting for the perfect time is usually there's an emergency that happens. And then another excuse comes up where you can't record. And then guess what? With the entire month, the entire time, not recording the jobs you did have at hand because you're waiting for that perfect one that was a beautiful home with all the right things that you could record, and then you had an emergency. So in business, in life, nothing can ever be perfect, because if it was, damn, good for you. Get a lottery ticket or something, because that's not really, I don't see how that works. So, but I hear that all the time also with the ads as well. When I ask for people for content, hey, let's grab this, give me this. Like, I write the script, I give it simple as possible, because simple truly scales when it comes to advertising or just business, keeping everything simple. No need for complexity. It's already hard enough as it is. But most of the time is that I didn't have time. It wasn't the perfect house. I don't have this, I don't have that. The only time I'll take an excuse like that actually truly makes it a reason why not to, is they truly don't have work. Like, you actually have no jobs to get something from.
Yeah, no matter how small,
other than that, just grab it.
Get what you can get.
And also, if you make it like you come off genuine in the video, it still appeals to homeowners. If you have to wait for the big job, you won't record a bedroom. What does that say to other people? You come off as, you can say, a little sleazy. At the end of the day, again, we're trying to sell. My goal is to sell the owner, the contractor, to the homeowners. Why should they go with you? If all you see is green, money, you don't care about the homeowner, they'll feel that. They won't like that. And that's why you can never wait for the perfect situation to grab the videos for your business, ads or for branding or for both.
100%.
So that being said, if you or we were launching a brand new contracting business in 2025, what would you do first?
What's funny is I work with a lot of great, amazing contractors, and they always tell me, like, we've had this conversation. They're like, when are you going to become a contractor? You know so many contractors. And I always ask myself, will I ever get into this game? I don't know. I love business though. I get to work with all different types of service businesses, not just contractors. But I just love seeing every part of different types of businesses. But I would probably dabble in something in the near future. But how would I start my contracting business in 2025? Well, the minute I get, if this is from scratch, the minute I get that one job, we're going crazy. It's always the one job. It's the hardest thing you ever get is one job. We're going crazy with a lot of content. I know that social media probably won't be my primary source to get leads, because if you're just starting out. But again, I'll still create as much content. Any profit that I would make between, let's just say, maybe $1,500, $2,000, or even $3,000. If I'm in the beginning stages, I'm not afraid to reinvest my money. Like, that's what the first 2 or 3 years of business looks like anyways. You're not really gonna be immediately profitable because you still have to make money. So I would take some of that money and dump it right back into ads, so people can actually, so I can reach people a lot more faster, because I know it's just adding fuel to the fire that I already started with the organic content, and I'll keep rinsing and repeating that process.
I pretty much do the same thing as well. If I started contracting, let's say painting, since I primarily focus with
you would be a painter?
Painting business. If I would do contracting, it would be painting businesses, since I knew it. The only thing I don't know about painting businesses is the paint. Pretty much. I don't know the material, why Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore, duration, emerald, etc. That's the only thing I don't know about the business. Or you can say estimating a job, but that I can probably pick that up fairly quickly, since I love numbers, I would say. But the approach I would take is that I would probably take the ads approach, whether if it's Facebook ads, well, I'll probably teeter yes or no. Yes, just because I know how to run ads for painting businesses and how to actually generate leads in the first place, to give me opportunities at bat to try and actually land work. Or I would definitely be putting my money into immediate results, the short-term gain, the short-term results. Then as things start to gain momentum, then go heavy with the branding. As work goes on, of course, every job counts, every job matters, every review possible, grab the review, grab the testimonial.
As much social proof content, yeah.
This is all it is, so social proof. It's the only reason why we're talking about branding Facebook ads is the whole point of putting them together is to try to make that lead quality that you get, whether organically or from paid ads, as close as word of mouth as possible. It's the biggest difference between word of mouth lead to a social media lead. It just comes down to trust and why would they go with you or why would they not go with you? The word of mouth lead already know, likes, and trust you. That's the goal with marketing, paid marketing and organic marketing, is to get them to know, like, and trust you. So the approach I would is we'll put basically majority of my money into getting work, just to get work. Of course, I don't want to be the person to charge cheap prices. I won't charge cheap prices to get there. I still charge adequate prices, but I just need to get the rep. I just need to get the work in, to get the content, to then exponentially take it further from there. That would be my approach.
Slowly but surely, you'll increase that brand equity. You'll be more credible. You won't have to be, you will increase that reputation. And once you have that momentum going, keep it going. Don't wait till just because things are going great in your business, or if I was to do my contracting business, just because things are going great, I'm gonna slow down with my marketing efforts or my branding efforts. No, I'm gonna go 10 times harder, because right now is that season for that. And God forbid, it doesn't slow down. But I'm definitely not gonna wait until, let's just say if I have that momentum and it slows down, I'm not gonna wait till it slows down to try and reignite it all over again. Like that's the stupidest thing.
Isn't that the irony?
That is the stupidest thing.
That's why you always get those high peaks and low valleys, is because you wait until when the valley happens. It's like, why do you wait to fix everything when the problem's at its worst? The whole point of maintaining your momentum is to always keep your foot on the gas. It's like I said about the guy who did the same thing for 35 years. He got stuck in his complacency, and now he's eating it. Now his valleys, he dug himself more than a 6-foot hole at this point. He's probably 12 feet now, because he just let the ground sink and sink and sink. He never did anything because his eyes were still above land. He was still able to see, and now he's underneath. And every time, let's say I have good months with people, when it comes to results, the objective always going forward is how can we maintain this? Because there's gonna be a valley. I always tell them, there's always gonna be a valley for Facebook. Not every month is gonna be a good month. Unfortunately, I wish it was. Everything can still go right. Let's say we had the perfect month. We won't change a darn thing, because the rule of thumb is if things are going well, you don't change anything, because why would you? And then the next month gets worse. It could be completely out of control. It could be the season. There could be some news that happened that people got scared, but you don't stop. And the whole purpose of continuing to hit the gas is to, it's like,
keep that momentum going.
It's like they say, if you never miss a day, you'll get lucky one day. How, like, for the people who do get lucky, it's because they never miss a day. If you keep missing days, you're gonna miss the day that if you worked that day or if you went hard that day, you would have got lucky and you would have got that explosive result. So if you keep waiting, and sometimes I do have it happens to me that say somebody will stop working with me because they're booked out 3 months. And then after 3 months, oh, I have nothing on my calendar. I'm like, what do you want me to do? You want me to come be Jesus and save you a miracle? I'm gonna do my best. But you can never get too complacent when things are getting too good. Because a lot of people wish to be in your shoes and have that problem, because right now in this time of age, more people don't have enough work rather than have a lot of work. So if you are the people who do have an oversupply and an abundance, find a way to maintain that. Just fine. Don't stop. Don't stop putting gas in the fire. I always say, definitely with the resources you do have, put it in the right spots, but don't just put your hands up like, hey, everything's going great, let me go play some golf today. It's like, what? Man, dude, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. So.
I got a 10, bro. I got a whole 10 just sitting here.
Join the party. You gotta join the party. Yeah, natural all 10 right here.
My right arm is gonna be darkened in my left. Was that the last question?
The last question is, what's one thing every contracting business should do this month or any future month or year to level up their marketing?
If you have the money to make the investment and bring on A players that actually know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, that would be the best bet, to stop trying to figure it all out on your own. Because if it's not working the way that you want it to work, there's probably a reason for that you just can't put too much effort in because you're probably too busy, running the business and putting out fires or taking care of customers. But if you want to, I say this all the time, if you want to go fast, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. So there's nothing better than investing into the right people and creating strategic partnerships to help you level up with your marketing efforts.
Nice.
And if you can, then post some fucking content.
And with that, I have 2 words, is be you. So pretty much what I would say to level up your marketing is just be you, show you. Again, in my opinion, just making it black and white is that when it comes to your competition, you want to compare yourself there. Let's assume that everybody does the same type of level of work. You guys all do great work. To level up your marketing, if you guys do all the same great work, is how can you be yourself? How can you show yourself in many colors to the homeowners that you want to attract, to get more work, to beat them out, to either maintain your market share or increase your market share in the area that you're in, to continue to dominate and then to continue to grow your business. You are your biggest asset. Whatever cap or bottleneck that you're currently facing is because of you're not growing as a person, you're not growing yourself as an owner, you're not growing your skill sets, and more times than not, the skill set you haven't even touched or really worked on is getting on camera. It's showing who you are. Because I hear that all the time. Everybody is fantastic in person. They'll tell me, oh, I don't really want to get on camera. Like, I'm like, it's not my thing, I'm nervous.
Bro, you're a grown ass man and you don't want to get on camera. That is. Sometimes I look at that, I hear that.
I hate that. I completely hate that.
You're a grown man, you gotta.
But they'll say, hey, like I'm very nervous. Like when I look at the camera, like I see deer headlights. I'm like, I understand. I had that same issue when I first started making content.
I didn't even want to create content outside in front of everybody right now.
Put me on the spot. All right. So
you did it. We pushed you out and you did it.
Absolutely did it. It's called growth at the end of the day. Where was I going this? But they're so scared to get on camera, but they're so willing to go to a stranger's home and then present a price of thousands of dollars for their work. The only reason why you guys are able to, because you're confident in what you guys do. So just show the confidence on camera. That's all it is. It's pretty much you go from 1 to 1 to 1 to many. And that 1 to many gives you the leverage in order to scale your business, scale your brand, scale who you are. Because you're able to make one piece of content and you do it well, or do it okay, or do it decently, whatever level of standard you're at, and you can blast it out to hundreds to thousands of homeowners of your ideal client to just land more work, 5, 10, 15 more jobs a month by making one piece of content. When you kind of basically open your mind and think about the scale of what you're so scared to get past and jump over that hurdle, you're really basically admitting to yourself what's holding you back, and it's just you. And it's just you. So my tip to you, to what you can do to level your marketing this year for 2026 or and onwards, is just be you. Show your company, show what you guys is about, show why you guys care so damn much about these projects and why a homeowner should pick you and pay for you for the quality of work that you do. You show that, like human psychology, it makes no sense why they don't want to go with you. Why shouldn't you get a result?
And if you don't know why homeowners should go with you, take a step back and understand, what is your unique value proposition? What sets you apart? Because nothing is going to work if you sound like everybody else. I love the idea of being you. 100% authenticity will always be what there's not another you out there. But just make sure that as you're being yourself, you're also not copying what another contractor is doing just because they're doing it on social media. Your approach still has to be different in answering, why do you matter? So think about that as you continue to grow. Where can people find you, bro?
Where people can find me? Instagram, Facebook, website, or on this YouTube. The YouTube where this is going to be posted. So you got my Instagram, I'm pretty sure it's like _ New Era Digital Marketing _ and then Facebook is New Era Digital. If you go on the website, new-era-digital.com is the website link, and then YouTube is Painting with Daniel Pereira. That's the username.
Cool. And you guys can find me on Instagram, Flow, FLOW, Menez, MENEZ. I'll put my information down below. I only take a limited amount of contractors if you need help branding your business every single month, just to give everybody my full attention that they need, or each project that full attention. So I'll leave the information down below if you guys want to join the top tier contractors free community group. I also go live and help you with your branded content every Sunday, so you get real feedback. I give you real blunt and raw feedback on your content that you've been creating, and hopefully it could be a great resource to guide you in the right direction as you continue to create and grow your business. Thank you guys for watching. Daniel,
Pleasure.
that was a good one, bro.
Cheers.
So everyone, that concludes the podcast. I had a lot of fun making it. I hope you guys took a lot of value from it. Of course, definitely a little switch up or change up from the normal way I do things. Of course, it was an in-person podcast and it was a lot of fun. So again, hope you guys took a lot of value from it. And if you are a painting business owner looking to scale your marketing company or just need help, I'm going to leave my calendar link down below. I also will leave all of Flow's information as well if you actually are interested in how you can strategize your brand for your painting business or even contracting business to help you guys scale for the long term. So if you enjoyed today's podcast video and all other types of content, please make sure you subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.